Sorry about that. All right, welcome everyone. Sorry, we're kicking
Can you
away.
see me?
Yes, we can now. Thank you.
Great.
Oh, we're only 1 minute late. So, I've got an apology this afternoon from Victoria Henstock and apology from Councillor Scandrett for lateness. He'll be late back, and of course the Mayor's off. So we will fire away and welcome the Richmond Residents and Business Association. Dave Duffy is Chairperson, and Rachel. Welcome.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak.
Push the button, it'll go green. Yep.
Of course. I'd like to introduce Rachel Crawford, who's our capacity builder. That's right, I always forget that term. Who's been working with us for now 2.5 years, and enabling us to make some good progress on some of our projects. You people have had some pretty big fish to look at in the last week or so, and another week ahead of you, I believe. We're one of the little fish, and it's probably illustrated by the fact that we've got 5 minutes to speak to our submission. I'm not going to try and speak to the 11 separate clauses in the submission in 5 minutes. Some of the items in there are about Richmond particularly, concerns that we're working on. Some of them flow over into and could be interpreted to concern the whole of Christchurch, such as the issues surrounding water and those kinds of things. But I do want to reflect on some of the other things that this submission process has put in front of us, and we would like to convey our thoughts to you about these. We've noticed that there is a sign of a different relationship between council and community in the last 6 months, and the signs we see are encouraging, but we want to pick up on those and try and emphasise them for the future, because at Richmond, one of the things we pride ourselves on is we're not looking back at the past. We're having to deal with the past, but we want to look into the future and build a sustainable future. So these are some of the thoughts that we've had. We would like to see the continued development of collaborative relationships, and in developing those collaborative relationships, trying not to express everything in monetary terms. This long-term plan, possibly the main theme for most residents is, will the rates go up and by how much? We want to move away from that monetised frame of mind to developing the relationships to work for the better of the city and deal with the money issues as part of that, not because of it. Another thought we have is that we need to move away from pothole politics. And that's not a dig at the Mayor, it's because of some of the statements he made earlier, but it's a sign of what is happening in governments around the world. There's a whole lot of patch-up stuff going on, there's a whole lot of cosmetic stuff going on, and what we really need to be looking at is some of the major infrastructure things, and I know you're doing that through water and transport and those sorts of things, but within the suburbs themselves. So I've got a living example right outside my front door at the moment with the rebuild of my street. It's 104 years old. I've lived there 54 years. It had 2 minor lots of maintenance in those 54 years, and now it's a major, oh, look at that. It's, as you can see for yourself, it's a major reconstruction, completely disrupting the street for about 5 months. And I wonder sometimes if we didn't act sooner and with more thought and more planning, we wouldn't land ourselves in these situations where there's major disruption, albeit for a small group of people. But the third point we want to make is that there's a vast untapped resource of knowledge, ideas and enthusiasm in local communities, which is stifled by an inadequate consultation process based on the narrow parameters of the current submission practices. We want to see a greater relationship developing after the submission process so that plans or ideas can be taken further. They may not reach fruition, but they may lead to other things. They may lead to community involvement. They may lead to a community that feels as if it's part of the city rather than being treated as, no, that's not a good idea, we won't take it any further and you won't hear any more back from us. So we want to encourage that next step, if you like, from the submission process. And fourthly, we feel we have to address the spectres of the past and the present, and we can go back to the earthquakes. We're still dealing with issues from there. COVID, a new government, procrastination, personal interest, and indecision, which is reducing our spending capacity markedly. It's delaying our progress, and it has a hand in disincentivising our residents. We need to be proactive and courageous and show leadership. And I see a lead article in the paper this morning that's going to test you again about how you spend the money that came through from the Three Waters funding.
Just another challenge for us, Dave.
That's right.
So your 5 minutes just went whoosh then. So.
And that's all I have to say.
Oh, perfect. Hey, that was a really lovely submission. Thank you very much, and thanks for everything that you're doing in and for your and with your community. Appreciate it. All right. Sorry, we have to.